Alrighty, we've got a few people with us tonight, so we have the chat feature, so if there's any questions that anybody has, feel free to use that. And we are going to get started with planning our weekend trip. And then Olivia, I have the control of the slides, so whenever, if I miss it, just let me know.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
All right, cool. So let's get started. Oh, here I go, messing it up already. All right, so about us, we're super excited to have you guys tonight. Olivia and I are looking forward to discussing planning for a summer trip with you and really just having a lot of fun information to cover. So before we get started, we just wanted to give you a little bit of who we are before you get to talk to us for 30 minutes about nutrition. So my name is Morgan. I am one of the managing dietitians here at On Point. I've been working with us for about 2 years, and I really just love chatting with clients about planning weekend trips or just weekends in general, talking about meal planning for the week, and then as well as just like focusing on small, really big successes, small but big successes day to day. I'm excited tonight to talk to you about planning to pack, plan, and prep for a weekend getaway. And with me, I have Olivia.
Hi, everyone. I'm Olivia. I'm a registered dietitian at On Point, and I've been with On Point for about 4 months, and I've been a dietitian for about 6 years now. So I love helping clients feel more confident with nutrition, especially during times when they're away on vacation. So very excited to talk about all the things that will make your weekend trip fun while keeping you in line with your health goals.
Cool. So basically tonight what we have is we've got 30 minutes together, but we'll be covering a few different topics. We'll touch on snack planning, navigating meals out, meaning on the road, maybe in the air or at restaurants. We'll talk about packing your suitcase, which is something that's not typically nutrition related, but also very important with our program and planning. And then we'll also talk about flexibility in your schedule because as we've learned, and I've seen even myself, there's nothing that's going to go 100% according to plan. So we're very excited to jump right in. If you guys, like I said, have any questions, feel free to ask them during the conversation. If we have a little bit of extra time, we'll send them in the minute, or we'll answer everything once we get done through the materials.
Alrighty, so I'm going to kick us off today with snack planning. So as Morgan mentioned, trips can be very fun, but they can definitely pose some different challenges. And one of those challenges can be hunger. So when you're traveling, many times meal quality and timing are just really different from what you're used to at home. So this can result in different hunger levels throughout the day. So a big component to making balanced decisions while you're away is making sure that you avoid getting to that extreme point of hunger or starvation. So when we get to that point, it's really hard to make health conscious decisions because our bodies are desperate for food and nutrition. So packing snacks for your trip is a big key in those moments where you feel like you're getting hungry, but there's not really a meal in sight. So that you're stuck in traffic, flights are delayed, something variable always happens when traveling that you don't necessarily plan for. So snacks can really help you get through those moments. So having snacks help you get nutrition in, help satisfy your hunger, and help you enjoy your time instead of focusing on how hungry you are. And additionally, avoiding getting to that extreme point of hunger can help make you or help you make more intentional decisions that are balanced when mealtime does come around. So the good news is snacks can be super simple. An easy formula for filling and satisfying snacks is pairing together a source of fiber. So that can be a fruit, a veggie, or a whole grain with either a protein or a fat. So some easy snacks to pack could be whole grain crackers with a cheese stick or fruit and Greek yogurt, veggies with individual little cups of hummus or guacamole, or even a protein bar that includes a starch, a fat, and protein. So to take some of the guesswork out of your snacks, we do have a lot of resources on the On Point Nutrition member portal to kind of help you out. So our snack list gives you some ideas for different snack combinations that are based on flavor preference, textures, and ease. So we actually have a little screenshot of that on the slide right here. It is in the resources section of our portal and definitely something to check out if you have a chance. And then we'll also send out a link to some other refreshing snacks that are really perfect for the pool or beach because they're focused around hydration. So they include lots of fruits and veggies, and they can kind of help keep your water intake up throughout the day when the weather's hot. So we'll send out that link as well. All right, Morgan, ready? Okay, so next topic is navigating restaurants and fast food. So when you're away for the weekend, there's no doubt that you'll be having at least some meals out at restaurants. So no matter if the restaurant is fast food or upscale, making decisions that kind of align with your health goals can feel somewhat daunting. So let's go through some tips that can kind of help make you feel more confident in your food decisions. So first is don't be afraid to ask questions. You can ask how foods are prepared, and you can make substitutions if you see fit. So if something on the menu says it is crispy or fried, you can always alter that and ask for whatever that is to be grilled or broiled or baked. You can ask how things are prepared. Are they prepared in butter or olive oil? You can always make substitutions there as well. Ask for sauces on the side, and this kind of goes hand in hand with dressings as well. So this is not to say that you shouldn't be having the sauce or not enjoying the dressing, but it really just helps you eyeball how much you're using and be aware of how much of that sauce or dressing that you're using.
That's probably my favorite tip to do. I always ask for it on the side.
Right, and it's such an easy thing for restaurants to do, so it's really no biggie there. This is probably my favorite one, bumping up the veg content. So you can definitely bump up the fiber content and the color in your meal by asking for a side veggie or vegetables to be mixed into your dish. So an example of this could be like incorporating some broccoli or mushrooms or peppers into a pasta dish or something like that. Another really important tip in terms of eating out and, making the best decisions that you can throughout the day would be eating consistently leading up to the meal that is out at a fast food restaurant or just a regular upscale restaurant. Giving yourself consistent nutrition helps your body know that it's nourished and you're getting in some good nutrition and calories throughout the day. So that way, when you get to the meal, you're feeling good and not overly hungry. So that way you can make intentional decisions. Always aim for a plate of balance too. So focus on those lean proteins, getting veggies in, healthy fats like avocados, nuts, or oils, and then getting in some fiber-rich starches. So incorporating whole grains or things like sweet potatoes to get a little fiber boost there. And then finally, if you are doing the meals out, especially in more upscale restaurants, sometimes portions are just very, very big. So you can always pack your leftovers to take home with you.
Like simple meal prepping 101, right?
Yeah, very.
Leftovers for lunch tomorrow.
Exactly.
Cool.
Okay. And then for fast food restaurants. So fast food restaurants, tips for that are very similar to eating at a regular restaurant with a couple of tweaks here and there. So you can go for options that are grilled or baked. So these options tend to be just leaner with minimal added fat. And examples of this could be like a grilled chicken sandwich or a wrap with grilled chicken or grilled nuggets, for example. If there are options from fast food restaurants that you love or you really look forward to, that's great, and we should definitely incorporate those, but we can do it in a more controlled way and maybe enjoy those options on the side to your actual meal. So this could look like getting a small order of fries on the side to your grilled chicken sandwich, or having maybe a small fountain soda in addition to getting a water bottle. So this way, like I said, you can kind of enjoy those foods while still keeping the focus on those more nutrient-dense options. And then instead of ordering combo meals, those can kind of include a standard sandwich with maybe a larger drink and a larger side like fries. You can always order your foods a la carte. That way you kind of can choose exactly what you're getting and in the sizes that you want. And then finally, don't sleep on the fruits and veggies. So places like McDonald's and Chick-fil-A have lots of different side options that can really round out your meal and bump up the fiber content. So options like side salads, pre-cut fruit, and fresh veggies are usually available in some capacity. Just takes a second to kind of scan the menu and take a look at everything before you make your decision.
Yeah,
So
get in a little bit.
yeah, and there's no shame in taking a couple seconds to like step back, scan the entire menu, and kind of make the best decision for you. But with any restaurant or fast food experience, remember to honor your hunger cues throughout the meal. Pay attention to those cues and enjoy savoring the meal. That's a big part of traveling. So savor it, enjoy it. And remember, like, it never feels good to leave a meal overly hungry or overly stuffed. So paying attention to your hunger cues and kind of honoring them and being conscious of them throughout your meal is really important here as well.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a huge cue, is like you get to use it as an experience. So focusing on the experience itself and the food, the way that it tastes, because oftentimes it's different than your norm. So
right.
Really enjoying it and focusing on your hunger cues is a great idea.
Right, absolutely.
So switching gears a little bit to rest stops and airports. It's neat to see, we'll be using a lot of the tips that Olivia just gave, but it's nice to see and have a plan going into these because they can be a little bit tricky. Especially now, I feel like airports and rest stops are looking a little different now that COVID happened, because some rest stops are completely closed and you have to go a little bit longer before you can stop, or some of the airports just don't have as many options open anymore. So kind of going with a few plans or a few tips will make your trip a little bit easier. So here are a couple of different tips that I've come up with, and it's just helpful to have in mind for things that I do for myself, and I found that they've been pretty helpful with clients as well. So the first one's really thinking, like, how long is your trip? Is this something that's just a quick hour-long car ride? Is it something that will be a little bit longer where you need to pack more of your snacks and meals with you? So kind of taking that into consideration. So if you're driving or if your trip is only around 1 to 2 hours, packing some light snacks. So again, snacks that Olivia had mentioned, thinking of that like fat with a fruit or starch and a protein. So that way you have that combination and you feel satisfied, but you're not quite overly hungry, or you get to your location and feel ready for your next meal. If your meal is 3 or more hours, or your trip, I should say, is 3 or more hours, packing simple meals that you can eat while you're on the go. So sandwiches and wraps, sometimes a salad is an option that you can pick. Another really good one that's good for traveling is really either Greek yogurt with granola and fruit. So it's usually something that's small, but still can kind of pack a good punch for you. So you're sustained, not starving when you get to your destination, but then again, still keeping your brain kind of at bay and your hunger at bay too. The second question that I generally look at or think about for myself is, what time will I be traveling? Am I getting up and leaving at the crack of dawn, or am I leaving right after work and have a full day? So if you're leaving super early, breakfast will generally be grab and go. So thinking of things that are cold or something you can make the night before, an overnight oats is really great, or a pre-made smoothie. If you're stopping at a rest stop, you can always grab the snack packs or egg bites from Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts. They're relatively easy, always light and easy to pack in the car, so a good snack to have. If it's lunchtime, I generally have clients kind of packing sandwiches for their trips. So again, things that can stay in the cooler so you don't necessarily have to stop, but if you want to, you can always pick up a sandwich on the road as well. Another tip that I'm not good at following myself, but getting to the airport early. Then you can have lunch and sit down and actually enjoy it. I am like 100% the type of person who gets to the airport like at the end of, like, right before boarding. So I bring a sandwich with me through airport security, and I could just have that when I get on the plane. But I recommend, not really great at practicing what I preach here, but recommend getting there early, sitting down and having a meal at a restaurant, or just giving yourself time to stop somewhere and grab a meal there. So that way you're not rushing around or just relying on whatever you can grab right before you get on the plane.
I definitely relate to that as well, Morgan. I think, but
I can't wait. I can't sit in an airport. I usually fall asleep, so I will
right,
miss my
right.
flight.
But it's perfect if you know that that's you, then, packing something ahead of time, like your overnight oats or your smoothie or your sandwich kind of makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, and it's really nice too, kind of going into the pack that you can. Nowadays, you can pack a lot more on a plane.
Mm.
You can. I was just looking this up with a client not too long ago, and you can pack up to 6 ounces of food. So if you chop up vegetables and put
Mm.
them in a baggie, or if you bring a sandwich, it's allowable. You can bring it through security; they won't take it away. Where I remember traveling a long time ago, and that wasn't allowed. I've even forgotten that I've had fruit in my bag with me. And I get to my location and I'm like, oh, I totally forgot. I have apples and oranges in my bag that I can snack on. So it is really nice that you can pack a lot more than just like a protein bar, or you can bring a sandwich because it's really just easy to have and grab and go. Like it's okay, I'm running to the airport because I'm late for my flight and all I have is a protein bar, but it's still good. So
Right.
it's nice that you can do that. And then same thing with traveling by car. If you're driving somewhere, packing an entire cooler just designated to foods and snacks. So having one for your drinks and then one for your snacks, if that's possible, that's the best way to do it, because then you can have a cooler full of your prepackaged snacks of your yogurt, your hummus and veggies, or guacamole, or your sandwiches. So again, helping you prevent the extra stops, but also just having a game plan for the entire ride. But the moral of the story here is really just thinking like going in with that plan of how long will I be away from food, or how long will I be in the car or in the plane, so that you have that plan, kind of like you had mentioned too, Olivia, like not going too many hours, not getting hungry before your next meal, and having that snack kind of on hand will help you get through and navigate it pretty easily. And then once you are at the rest stops or the airports, there's always lots of options. And like I said, it's changing. It's always something that's new, and there may be open, they may not be, but you can always find something. When I've done my recent traveling, Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks never close. I think those are two places that are a pretty good staple. And you can find pretty healthy options at those as well. So you can get a turkey, bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich, or the egg bites, like I mentioned earlier. They even have the wake up wraps that have a little bit of carb from the tortilla, plus an egg, which is your protein, and dairy for your cheese. So it's a good combination and a fairly filling snack. And whenever I'm driving home to my parents, or whenever I'm going somewhere, it's usually my like go-to grab and go meal, because it's not messy and it's very filling. If you're at one of the more fast food restaurants, Chick-fil-A, Burger King, or McDonald's, it's interesting because I was talking again with a client earlier this week, or last week actually, about fast food stops. And she had mentioned that in New Jersey, there's only Burger Kings at fast food stops. And I didn't put that together and never really paid, I guess, maybe that much attention to it. And then once you mentioned it, I was like, you know what? Like, I think you're totally right. Like, some fast foods, they have, like, I know the one in Allentown on the Pennsylvania Turnpike is Annie Ann's, there's Roy Rogers, and
Mhm.
a Starbucks. So, like, I guess maybe they have specific ones that go there, but generally you'll be able to find one of these. And like you said, when we're out and about, go for grilled, because we could get a little less fat added to it by doing a grilled versus something that's fried. And then adding in a salad and doing grilled chicken on the market salads, or just on any salads you can find. It's adding in that veggie so we're not forgetting about them. Because like you said, it's very easy to just think like, I'm starving, this grilled chicken sandwich sounds really great. Forget about the veggies until later when we think about it and think I need to have 2 or 3 veggie servings for dinner. So it's nice to kind of have that combo there. And then also in general rest stops, they have that little bit of a market. So they have the little grocery store section that has the refrigerated foods, which nowadays those protein boxes are like very common. So they generally have an egg, some kind of fruit, a little bit of peanut butter, and a carb, whether it be a pita or a little baby bagel. There's Greek yogurts in those all the time as well. Now they even have some salads and some sandwiches in there. So it's really a great option. And then you can also find protein bars if all else fails. If it's just something quick to kind of hold you over, you can look for a protein bar that has like 10 to 15 or 10 to 20 grams of protein. And then the carbs would generally match it, which is like 10 to 20 grams of carbs as well. So again, it'll be a perfect little snack to kind of hold you over until you get to your main meal. And then kind of the same, more of the same, which is consistency is key, but following the restaurant guidelines that Olivia mentioned. So choosing balance, thinking to yourself, do I have a protein, a vegetable, and a starch on my plate? Is there a way I can add another vegetable? And then also eating mindfully, especially if we're on the road, we're a little bit more distracted. So thinking to yourself, am I actually enjoying this meal? Is it something that I'm eating because I'm hungry or am I bored? So kind of paying attention to those hunger cues during this time is important as well. Alrighty, then our other next thing that we talk about is strength and hydration. It's something that's also important to touch on aside from food. Again, we kind of talk about a little bit of everything at one time. So planning for your drinks is something that's important. Vacations are meant to be celebrated, meant to have fun. So we want to make sure that we're just going in with a plan around it and not forgetting about hydration because they both go kind of hand in hand. So generally you'll hear your dietitian or nutritionist talking about planning for your drinks. Generally anything alcoholic will count as a starch. So we know that we have to plan around that, be a little lighter earlier in the day, or give ourselves a guideline of, I want to have X amount of drinks while I'm on vacation. That way you still get to enjoy yourself, but you're not feeling restricted, but then also being mindful of how many extra starches we may or may not be having. Two other ways to kind of change that up and give yourself the same, like indulging flavors, but without the calories attached to it. We've got flavored seltzers. So two of the favorites from On Point's crew are Spindrift and Olipop. They give you a little bit of the bubbles. They have some flavor to them, but again, they're pretty light nutritionally. And then mocktails are just another good way to have the indulgence, but without the booze involved. So thinking things like a watermelon juice with mint and seltzer, mango juice with jalapeno and seltzer. I've been telling a lot of clients about these recently, so they're all sounding very delicious and exciting.
They sound awesome, yeah.
Cool ways to change up the flavor, but without having only water.
Awesome. And then on the water note, staying hydrated is super important to kind of make you feel your best, and being adequately hydrated helps with regular digestion, helps avoid bloating, regulates your body temperature, and is pretty critical for when you're traveling to areas, especially with different climates. But this can definitely be a little tougher than when you're in your normal routine at home. So an easy solution for a weekend getaway would be bringing a reusable water bottle. So these can be filled at rest stops, airports, and sometimes even like restaurants and hotels. So carrying that filled water bottle around with you to the beach, to the pool, hiking, wineries and breweries, or any other activity really that you're doing can help ensure that you stay hydrated, and kind of helps ensure that you're sipping water throughout the day. And you can even set reminders on your phone for this too. You can set alarms, reminders, anything that kind of helps you remember, okay, I need to drink some water and stay hydrated now. And additionally, when you're at restaurants, you can also, if you're getting a drink that is not water when you're maybe out for a meal, you can always get a water on the side too. Sometimes I think people forget about this. So you can always get a water on the side to whatever drink you're having to sip on throughout the meal as well.
That's a great way to think about it. I do that like every time, no matter where I go, I sit down and I always just say like water I get it for the table.
For the table, right? It can't hurt.
I'll do a round of waters and then I'll also think about whatever drink I want to have along with it. But that's a great great thing to remember, because oftentimes like if it's not on the table, we do forget about it.
Right. And sometimes we can feel like we're hydrating when we're drinking something, but it might not necessarily be giving us water content. So yeah, for sure. And then another way to work in hydration is to incorporate some water-rich foods. So these primarily consist of fruits and veggies, and especially fruits and veggies that are in season throughout the summer, which is really nice. So think foods like cucumbers, melons, strawberries, and bell peppers, just to name a few there. And if you aren't a fan of plain water, try seltzer water, iced herbal tea, or even infused water. So adding different combinations of different fruits or herbs to water, kind of similar to some of the mocktails that are on the screen here, can add a huge flavor punch to just regular plain water or seltzer. So just some good hydration tips overall there.
Awesome. All right, moving on to our suitcases.
Okay, great. So you're probably thinking, what does packing have to do with nutrition? And the answer is surprisingly a lot. So packing clothes or outfits or bathing suits that make you feel your best, um, make you feel your most confident self while you're away. So this ties into really all of our other choices, including those around food and nutrition that also help us make us feel our best selves. That's a tongue twister there. But we've all been in situations where our bathing suit felt uncomfortable or an outfit required adjusting all night or something fit too tight or too loose. So we couldn't really enjoy our time because we were preoccupied with our clothing. So we don't want that, right? Weekend trips are meant to really help you relax and recharge. So let's chat about how to kind of set yourself up with apparel that helps you do just that. So when you're packing, asking yourself the following questions can be kind of helpful here. So asking, does this fit me comfortably? Do I feel confident in this? Can I relax in this? Will my focus be on fixing this outfit the entire time I'm wearing it? And am I prepared for a slight change in temperature? So if the answer to any of these is a definitive no, you might want to rethink maybe the outfit or the top or whatever it is that you're packing. And remember, clothing sizes are just numbers. So sizing varies from store to store, and packing clothes that make you feel positive, prioritizing clothes that fit and make you feel good really helps elevate your overall weekend trip experience.
Very true. Very true. Alrighty. So then my kind of going along the lines of non-nutritionally, but planning for flexibility to the plan. Again, not everything goes according to plan. I think you can plan it to a complete T, and then all of a sudden your flight is delayed, or everybody hates the restaurant that you wanted to go to, or really just anything could come along. You're not hungry at the right time. So there's going to be a lot of times where you want to have that go with the flow mentality. Give yourself the sense of like, if it works out the way that I planned it, awesome. But if there's a way that I have to choose a different restaurant and I don't know the menu, going with that go with the flow mentality is really just going to help your trip be more enjoyable and less stressful. We aim for progress and not perfection. So if it's not 100% according to plan, we're still going to find ways to celebrate with you. So nothing that will kind of take you completely out of your norm. One of the things that we also talk with the clients is like really giving yourself the time to take a break from logging. We are, especially nowadays, always on our phones, always on our computers, and never have that chance to really turn off. So we encourage our clients to sometimes take a break from logging when you go on a trip for the weekend, or if I go on trips for a vacation, sometimes I come back and I notice that my clients also just take a vacation from logging. And they sometimes will be like, oh, you're going to be mad I didn't do it. And I say, I'm never mad. I think it's nice to take a break every once in a while and give your brain that little sense of relief of not always counting every single detail, and giving yourself that sense of, am I being mindful about the choices that I'm having? And if I am and I'm mindful about it, I'm still making good choices. And even if you are making a choice that's maybe not the healthiest, it's not your norm. So you're not having ice cream and cookies and desserts every single day. And even if you are, we still find ways to celebrate it. But eating out like the way you will if you're on vacation is not your norm. You may not be in the sense where you have the chance to make your own meals, or you have to go out to eat every chance because you're in a hotel or wherever you may be. So thinking to yourself, keep the norm of eating consistently, making balanced choices and staying mindful, but knowing that if it's a little saltier than you normally do, or you're getting a little bit more indulgent treats, it's not what you have been doing for the last couple of weeks with your dietitians. So you're going to be okay. It's totally fine that you have a little blip here or there, and we encourage it. We eat ice cream too, so it's very, very okay. We really want you to enjoy your vacation and the treats that come along. So not drawing attention to, oh, Morgan's on a diet, she's watching what she's eating. It's, hey, I am having a good time and my family's having ice cream, so I'm going to have ice cream, and I'm going to really enjoy and kind of take that experience as it is.
That's such a good point. And like, it's, I think, important to remember that these weekend trips are meant to be like rejuvenating, right? Not, focusing on stress around food or being perfect. It's more about just making the best with what you have, kind of thing.
Exactly. Have fun with it.
All right, to wrap it all up. So to summarize your weekend trips and the tips, we wanted to provide you with a few takeaway pointers here. So first is planning your snacks. Add mindfulness to your meal planning. Pack your suitcase with clothes, bathing suits, whatever it is that you feel good about. Remember to stay flexible and most important, have fun.
Very true. Awesome point.
Yes. All right. So thank you guys for coming. Should we do some Q&A, Morgan? I know we're a little bit over in our time, but if anybody has any questions, we can answer here.
Yeah, absolutely. If anybody has any questions, we can stay and hang on the line for a few extra minutes to answer any questions that come up. And if not, you can send an email to us and we'll be able to help you that way. So the PowerPoint our presentation will be recorded. So you can always come back and visit it if you are going on a trip and you wanted to take back some of the extra points. Or you can also talk with your dietitians about it as well.
Yes, for sure. And the recording of this webinar will be in your inbox tomorrow. So you should see that then.
Yeah, very cool. It doesn't look like we have any questions yet, but we can stay on for just another minute or two.
Okay.
Olivia, do you have any weekend plans coming up?
Not this weekend, but I do have a couple weekends coming up where I'll be really just at the beach. So a typical weekend trip. So we'll definitely be taking advantage of some of these tips that we kind of put together here. But yeah, lots of beach trips this summer. So that'll be nice. How about you?
Same, a lot of the same beach trip or going to the pool, which
a
lot of the time I just like bring some watermelon or bring some snacks to have with me because I love to eat. So I'm just like snacking throughout the entire day.
As we all do. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, nice.
And a lot of my clients have been going on weekend trips recently. I feel like, I mean, just travel in general is really picking up, but even just travel that you can drive to, like camping or a beach trip, seems to be kind of popular all around.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's more and more recently, especially I think like now that we can travel, it's just nice that we could go somewhere for a weekend or even just a day. I just over this past weekend drove an hour and a half to go to a lake with one of my friends, and
so fun.
I packed a little cooler and we went on a boat on a Saturday afternoon. So it was so fun.
Amazing. Yeah. So that's a perfect example of a little rejuvenating fun trip there.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so no questions. So thank you again for everybody who showed up tonight. And if you have questions that do come up, if you're thinking about it, feel free to reach out to us or talk with your dietitian or nutritionist about it during your next call.
All right, thanks everyone.
Awesome. Have a great night.